Hi. No, I'm just kidding. Though, if you saw the movie, you'll get that joke. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Shitty Webcam Theater here at Annie Thought It Was Safe, and this is a vlog about Captain America. We just got back from it, and have to say, nice try, guys. But once again, I find myself being the guy in the room who brings everybody down by asking you, begging you, imploring you all to not accept all right as the new fucking awesome. Because that seems to be a trend with these films with these films leading up to the Avengers movie. And whatever your thoughts on that might be, I do salute Marvel's efforts in this gargantuan, Herculean project that they are giving themselves. And I salute them for it. I do. Honestly, it is ambitious, and for that they are to be commended. But what I won't do is what so many seem so eager to, and just give them a pass. Because this film has some very obvious problems. They're very simple to fix, but they become very complicated when your movie has to serve two masters. And that's been the problem of these movies, at least since Iron Man 2. Because whatever else you might think of this, at the very least, it was an Iron Man movie through and through. We got maybe 10 seconds post-credit teaser where Nick Fury shows up. I want you all for the Avengers Initiative. And then we got the same thing the same year with the Incredible Hulk, where Robert Downey Stark shows up at General Ross' bar, and like, I want you for the Avengers Initiative. And we thought, and I thought, okay, cool, that's how it's gonna be, right? And then, of course, Nick Fury showed up to derail the back half of Iron Man 2, and I realized, oh crap, we're in a very interesting position now, in this era of prequels, where at this point even original productions are starting to develop prequelitis, by which I mean a tendency of plot points to occur only because they are setting up a sequel. And that's Captain America's problem in a nutshell. Everyone involved knew from the start where they needed Steve Rogers to be by the end. And instead of working forwards, working towards that, making that the conclusion of an epic, worthwhile story, they worked backwards from that. We've got to get him frozen in ice in the Arctic. Okay, so he's gonna have a fight with Red Skull. Okay, why? Well, obviously, Red Skull and Captain America are fight. That's what they do. So, okay, well, he's in order to get to that point, he's got to become Captain America. So we do the origin story, and then we waste some time in the middle, and then we get to the big fight. And that's not a movie. That's about half to three-quarters of a movie, and a 45-minute long trailer for a movie we won't see until next year. So, whatever. It's just frustrating, is what it is. This is the sixth Captain America movie I've seen, and it's interesting being able to pick and mix from the various versions available to us and see what's been done well, and what's been done poorly. So, first off, the thing I was most concerned about, and the thing that obviously concerned everyone making this movie the most as well. Chris Evans, boy, you rock, man. You rocked it. You knocked that motherfucker right out of the ballpark. And this is me saying that. You know, I hate the Fantastic Four movies with a burning passion, this passion that outshines supernovas. And among my many, many, many hatreds of those films, you know, chief among them was my hatred of Johnny Storm, who's always one of my favorite characters from the comics, and no matter what writer he was passed to, never managed to achieve the level of epic douchebaggery that he achieved under Tim Story's direction, as played by Chris Evans. But of course, now that I've seen Chris Evans portray a character I actually care about and can actually identify with, and actually want to, you know, spend time with and root for and follow on a journey, right? Now that I've seen him do that, I now realize what his performance as Johnny Storm really was. It was acting, actual, honest to God acting, and I salute him for that. You know, from now on, I count Johnny's epic douchebaggery as a plus for both Mr. Evans and those films. So, good on you, Chris. You know, you were obviously not the problem, at least so far as those movies went. And as far as this one goes, too, you are, in fact, part of the solution. And probably the only real, honest to God, audience identification character we superhero fans are going to have when the Avengers rolls around. You see how difficult it is. It's hard. You can't discuss this without uh, discussing the Avengers film, and without the fact that it precedes one and sets one up very consciously. This movie'd have no real reason to exist. I mean, do we need another superhero origin story? Maybe. If it's done well. If it's done this well, yes. But that's only about 45 minutes in the movie. But I don't feel like paying full price for that. I want the whole movie. It's not the bad movies. Well, it is. No, it is, really. But it's not really the bad movies that get me going. It's the mediocre films. The films that are okay, but they could have been fucking awesome. With just a bit more work, a bit more focus, right? If the Joe Johnston who made The Rocketeer had made this movie, then it would have been epic. I'd be ranting about it and raving about it the same way you all seem to. But we don't have 1990 Joe Johnston here. We've got to live with 2011 Joe Johnston.
You go to war with the army you have, not the army you might want or wish to have at a later time.
You got to remember, Joe studied under George Lucas, unfortunately. 1980s George Lucas, so, you know, that's a bit of something there. But you've seen what the advent and improvements in green screen technology have done to George, right? So you can only imagine what the hell it's doing to his Padawans. And that's a real shame, because Chris Evans does for Captain America exactly what Chris Reeves managed to do for Superman. He convinces us that he is genuinely the moral, upright individual that he should be. You know? Sincere down to his core. And I can see how the sheer novelty of that would move most of you to fall at this film's feet in gratitude. I mean, it is the first honest-to-God superhero character study I've seen at least since Kick-Ass. That alone almost saves the film. But it's got the same weak-ass third act that almost every superhero movie has had, you know, at least since this thing, right? You can see the problem starting to creep in the first Spider-Man movie from 2002. And there's a reason Spider-Man 2 is generally better regarded, and there's a reason Doc Ock is everyone's favorite villain, supposedly. And it has nothing to do with him being sympathetic. He's really not. He's an asshole listening to the AI in his arms. I mean, that's. But at the very least, we get to spend time with him. He has goals that can be easily grasped. He has motivations that can be summed up in words, other than he's evil for the sake of being evil. And Doc Ock in Spider-Man 2 has a plan that both flows from and fits naturally into the first half of the movie. We don't get that here because the movie's got too much to do. Captain America and Haley Atwell, who is wonderful, by the way, um, best love interest since Pepper Potts, have to fall in love. Uh, so it's all sad and stuff when Steve wakes up in the present day. This film's very nice and wonderful, wonderfully used, wonderfully handled version of Bucky Barnes has to die unceremoniously because we can't have him cluttering up the present day. You know, good Lord, no. The Avengers movie is going to be packed enough as it is. And we need to end on an action scene. So, what do? We reach into the jar and pull out the most obvious damn thing we can find. What do we have here? Let's see. Red Skull uses technology we introduced in the Thor movie to blow up every major city in the U.S. with energon bombs. Okay, there we go. Who cares about the obvious parallelism between our hero and our villain, right? Who cares about using that as an excuse to portray our villain as an actual character as opposed to a road bump, basically? Who cares this movie's criminally, if this movie criminally misuses Hugo Weaving? I mean, in that sense, it's just like Joe Johnston's last cinematic stream of piss, the Wolfman remake. When it comes to criminal misuse of Hugo Weaving, Joe Johnston's 2 for 2. So, Michael Bay, you better watch out, buddy. Joe Johnston's coming for your ass. What you gonna do when Joe Johnston mania descends on you, brother? So, the back half of the movie is another superhero highlights reel, the prototype for Captain America movies to come. Captain America movies we should be looking forward to right now, by all rights, if we didn't have to get through the Avengers movie. Apart from the Shield, Cap's wartime service is about the only unique thing in his entire repertoire. So where's the epic period piece Captain America trilogy that this movie could and probably should have begun? I mean, there's at least 2 movies in the back end of this one, and we get to see the ending of both. Bucky dies and Cap gets frozen. But seeing them as part of an hour-long montage, basically, reduces their impact to almost nothing. After Cap rescues the fan service commandos, things stop feeling like events in a narrative, and they start feeling like boxes on a checklist. So that's Captain America in a nutshell. The question becomes, how much would you pay for a 45-minute movie with an hour-long special effects trailer stapled to its ass? Better than Iron Man 2, and the second Hulk movie, and Thor, I'll say that. Not near as good as Iron Man 1, the film it most closely resembles and was most obviously patterned after. It's a very vanilla Captain America movie. It's a very middle of the road movie in general from a studio that's too scared of failure to produce anything else at this point.
I'll wait for video.
For And You Thought It Was Safe, I'm David DeMoss. Comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Signing off.